Welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to walk you through a planner I had no particular business buying. So this is the Day Designer. I think it's called Day Designer for Blue Sky, and it's sold in Target. Of course, if I bought something I shouldn't buy, it's sold in Target. I've bought one of these every year for the last 3 years. It was the first planner that really kind of clicked for me, but I'm a stationery designer, so of course I have to tweak it and make things be exactly the way I want them. So I started making my own. So that was the first year that I bought one, and then I just ended up using it for a few months. And that's when I discovered that I really like the weekly hourly format. I love that. I recommend that anyone try it who is wondering where their time goes. So easy with other planner formats to like add time that doesn't really exist. You know, like you have one day when your to-do list is clean the bathrooms, walk the dog, clean the lint trap on the dryer. That's, you know, gonna take you maybe an hour. And then other days you have a to-do list of 3 things, and one of them is paint my bedroom. Another one is make a big Costco run. Another one is clean the garage. We think though, you know, because we can just write it down, we can do all of those things. And it really helped me to actually track how long it takes me to do things, and then be able to plan in the future for how long things really take. It's almost always longer than you think. So the Day Designer weekly planners at Target, and you have to look at them. They don't all do this, but a lot of them have the weekly hourly format, and this is definitely like the cheapest, easiest way to dip a toe into weekly hourly planning, and I highly recommend it. Last year I picked up a daily planner from them. I don't know why I did that. I use daily inserts. I don't use them every single day. Not all my days are that complicated. I thought maybe I would motivate myself to really use it every day if I bought one that was dated. So then, you know, you're wasting it if you don't use it. That kind of backfired on me because it was so heavy. I mean, it was like this thick, which it happens because 365, even though it's two-sided, 365 divided by 2 is, I don't know, but more pieces of paper than I feel like carrying around. That's actually what I really like about using a disc bound, which is what I use, or a ring bound system, is that you don't have to carry more than what's immediately in front of you. So you're not carrying, because I don't need to know, I don't need to look at my grocery list from 3 months ago. My forward planning, I mostly put in the phone, so I have that if I need to look it up. I don't need to carry weekly or daily inserts with me, because I'm not going to leaf through all that to find out, oh, when my daughter gets back from camp, her first orthodontist appointment is going to be, I don't going to carry a huge book, just keep that information. So size-wise, this was a nice compromise. I was interested in a large page format. This is 8 by 10. Never worked with a planner that big, aside from last year's daily planner, which we can't really say I worked with. I didn't use it for maybe a week. So I was curious to see how a larger format would work. I'm a little bummed when I actually look at the size. I'll show you this when I walk you through it. When I actually look at the size that they give you to write in, it's not much bigger than the space I give myself in my tiny little planner. You just get, I'll walk you through it. Here's the planner I bought. It's a monthly, weekly planner from the Day Designer Blue Sky collaboration, which is sold at Target. I think this was $14.99. It's available on the Blue Sky website for $24.99, which I hope I didn't pay for this. It didn't come with this band. I always make one of these because I have a pile of, this is called fold over elastic. I easily get it on Etsy for very inexpensively. All you need to do is tie a little knot at whatever length you need it. Cut it. I like to cut it on a little angle. It's kind of cute. And then you just have to melt that. The pen I'm going to be using is in here, and we'll be talking more about this later. The cover is a nice hard material, which I thought would be kind of nice. So you have a built-in hard surface for using it out and about. It has a page for personal information. It's all the dates for 2017 and 2018. Little story, which I won't read. Little goal setting process. I'm going to be honest, I think I did this last year in another planner that I had. If you're really interested in goal setting, there are so many free printables you can get on Pinterest. that are either more thought out or you could just tailor more to your specific needs. Personal goals, family, friends and relationship goals, heart and spirit goals, financial goals, work, career, or study goals. I don't actually feel like I would want this written down in a planner that I was going to be taking with me to meetings and things like that, or just like, I don't know, it seems kind of personal. Here's the monthly layout. Pretty basic. I like that they're lined. You do have a to-do list. I can almost guarantee you I will not use that because I just don't look back at my monthly frequently enough to make it worthwhile. The weekly layout, it is what's called a weekly hourly. So you have 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. written out. I didn't realize when I bought it that it's just broken down by hour and not by half hour, and I really prefer to be broken down by half hour, just the way my schedule usually works out. It has a space for today's top 3, and tonight, list of to-dos for the week. There's room for that in the planner because the pages are a little bit bigger. That interested me. Saturday and Sunday are just lines, which is maybe okay. I actually tend to work on Saturdays and Sundays or have a lot going on. Gratitude is always nice to put in. Notes, I don't know how or if I would use that. Next week, depends. I feel like I would probably just go ahead, especially since you have the to-do list, and write it down on the following week. So you can already probably start to see the biggest challenge with this planner, which is the pages are so thin that you can really see what's on the back. Like I'm just showing you here, you can see this block already. I'm not going to run you through all the pages of the planner. They're pretty much exactly the same. There's no big ending. Oh, here I have some Veda topic ideas for August. And so you have, I think you have a few notes pages. This last page, it's always kind of nice to have all together to see when the holidays are. Always kind of like those kind of pages. This is cardstock, and then just a little whatever in the back. One thing I will say that you won't be able to tell from looking at it is this planner smelled really weird. Like a very chemical-y smell. And I left it open for a few days, and that did dissipate, so that's good to know. Okay, so do we want to talk about pens first, or do we want to talk about layout first? Let's talk about layout. These are the weekly inserts that I've been using. The reason I wanted to try this planner out is because I've had several requests for planner inserts on an 8.5 by 11, and I thought, oh, it would be fun to see what it's like to plan on a larger sheets. And it's always just fun to try out somebody else's system. So I just thought I would like to see how this would go. Now, my day starts at 7. I have a space for your top 3 tonight, and I have that in a lined area. Is actually maybe to start the numbering, at 8, but then put a few lines up there for morning, because I feel like sometimes you want to do something in the morning before your day gets started, but the time on that can be really variable. Like for exercise classes at least, sometimes that's 5:45, sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 7 at the studio where I go. So I kind of feel like, or if you're going to take a long walk with the dog or go for a run, whatever, I feel like I would maybe just like to put a little sunrise or something there and be a little more flexible with that. Another thing I would love to add, and it's going to seem redundant, but I think I would like to add, if I decide to make full sheet inserts, I think I would like to add the today's focus that I have on my daily inserts, because it really helps me to think, not just like what am I doing, but what is today, like kind of what's my main point today. For example, on Wednesday, I take Thursdays away from my business. So Wednesday is like a scramble day to make sure that all my client work is as far along as it can be. I may get proofs ready even that I'm not going to send out until Friday. But I will really be scrambling to get the client work under control. So that's like my focus for the day. But my top 3 won't always just be within that. For example, like in the top 3, you have to put things, tomorrow we have to go to the orthodontist, I have to pick up the CSA. So sometimes what's on the top 3 are things that have to happen that day, but it's really good to have like a focus for the day. I tend to sort of just sketch out what I'm doing, and then I'll decide in the work periods exactly what to do. It's really good to have the focus to remind me of which things I should be working on. So yeah, the area for the daily schedule is really almost exactly the same. It's a little bit wider and fewer lines. One thing I really like about the inserts that I always do, and these are some that I printed myself for my own planner. What I sell are undated, so you write in the month there, and there are stickers that have these numerals on them to put in. But what I really like is having the day and the numeral like really easy to read. So I don't love having like a tiny little box there. So what I'm trying to decide, I like the idea of a to-do list and maybe of having more room vertically to add more space for what I'm doing in the morning and for like focus. And then I probably also could add a separate line for what's for dinner. I do already have these little things I got from Staples that are like to-do lists that fit right in here. So as far as like a weekly to-do list, I could be doing it. It's not necessary for me to make a whole new insert or buy a different planner, but I'm curious to see how it is all on one page. So we'll see what I think of all that. So before I show you the worst thing about this planner, I will say that I really recommend this planner highly if you really want to experiment with hourly planning. Either weekly hourly, which is what works for me because I like to be able to see my whole week at once, or daily. They also have daily options. And it's an inexpensive way to see how that works for you. The downside with this planner will be the pen test. You can probably see that on camera. I think you can. I tried, I'm not even going to go over with you every single pen that I tried. I think the paper may actually be a little bit worse than last year, which is the Periwinkle Le Pen was kind of acceptable. And this year, I don't feel like it even is. I first was going to use a ballpoint pen, but ballpoint pens drive me crazy. Then I have some of the Signo Uniball in a 0.38, which is a really fine point. Those skip a lot. I ended up especially ordering a 0.5, and I don't feel like you can tell much difference between the 0.5 here and this is the 0.5 here, this is the 0.38 here. You can see them both. I mean, what I love, my favorite Signo pen for just like writing notes to the kids or whatever is the 1mm, which is a really broad tip, and it has really smooth ink, and it's amazing, and no way are you going to be trying to use that on this planner. But if you are thinking about what it would be like to do hourly planning, I really recommend it. It's a really good way of giving you a visual picture of how you're spending your time. I hope I've inspired you to think about giving hourly planning a try. If you enjoyed this video, click subscribe below. If you're one of my regulars, I promise, next time, there will be food. If you've tried any of the Blue Sky planners or other planners at Target, I'd love to hear about your experience in the comments.